boy, I cannot wait to read the comments on this video. Today, we are taking a retrospective look at Olympic legends from decades past and comparing their legacies to that which we had seen a few days ago. Ladies and gentlemen, Connor Hellebuyck is the man of the hour in the sport of ice hockey because of what he was able to do in that gold medal game against the Canadiens. 41 saves on 42 total shots against, probably the greatest save of this generation's worth of hockey, where he robbed Devon Toews right in the crease with the paddle of his goalie stick. .976 save percentage in a game where the US got outshot and outchanced. What a crazy victory for the Americans and Connor Hellebuyck. But Carey Price was the last NHL goaltender to go out there and steal a game, win a game for his NHL team-fitted national team all the way back in 2014. Carey Price, in that tournament, had a .972 save percentage, a .59 goals against in 5 total games. He had 2 shutouts, including a shutout in the gold medal game. Connor Hellebuyck did very well too. His save percentage throughout the course of this Olympic Games was a .956, 118 goals against. So pick your poison, right? Carey Price had the better save percentage. He had the better goals against. I mean, who allows 0.59 goals against in one Olympic tournament? That is absolutely ridiculous. He was letting in a goal every 2 games. Connor Hellebuyck's numbers are absolutely bananas good as well. But it just goes to show you how sometimes the best goaltenders can really be the difference makers for these Olympic Games. Now, the reason we were talking about both Connor Hellebuyck and Carey Price is because of a post that was made on Twitter by JFresh Hockey. Take a look at this Twitter thread over here. He goes out there and says that the gold medal game will be absolutely massive for Connor Hellebuyck's legacy. A 3-time Vezina, Hart-winning goaltender, should be among the top-ranked goalies of all time. But that was tough to do with almost no playoff resume. Hellebuyck was on track to be incredibly difficult to place, but now with 3 Vezinas, a Hart, and a huge performance to win a gold medal, it'll be tough to keep him out of the top 10. Assuming the rest of his career is even decent, right? This was the history of hockey top 15 last year before Hellebuyck won 3 Vezinas and an MVP. They had him at 22. Where does he land now? This is a list of the top 15 goaltenders last year, where you can see the rankings over here. Dominik Hasek was number 1, Patrick Waugh was number 2, Jacques Plante number 3. This is a pretty great list, all things considered. Tretiak is on here, and I absolutely love that. Even the fact that he is placed above so many NHL legends. The fact is, Tretiak never played in the NHL, so he never got a chance to really showcase his talent in this league. But you can see everybody else, Dryden, Vezina, Henrik Lundqvist, Andrei Vasilevsky is down there at the bottom at number 15. But if you scroll back over onto the JFresh list, there are people going out there and saying, hey, where's Carey Price? Why is Price not on here? That's kind of ridiculous. And from an award standpoint, I can understand why Carey is not on this list, just because of the lack of cups, despite the fact that he did win himself a pretty decent amount of hardware in his own right. I mean, he has himself a Vezina, he has himself a Ted Lindsay, he has himself a Hart, and he has himself an Olympic gold medal. These are all fantastic things that Carey Price has accomplished. But now, when you take a look at the comparison of Connor Hellebuyck versus Carey Price, it gets a lot more interesting. Take a look at what head goalie guy said. I don't know if we can put Hellebuyck over Price yet. He's certainly getting close, but I don't think he's quite there yet. A reply from Ian is quite illuminating here. Hellebuyck has the same amount of Stanley Cups, the same amount of Olympic golds, the same amount of Hart trophies, but more Vezinas and more Jenningses. Less than 30 wins back in his career versus Price. I hate to say it, but Connor Hellebuyck has surpassed him slightly. Vezinas and Harts and team awards probably are not the best way to judge, considering Price should have won probably 7 Vezinas and 2 to 3 Harts, and he didn't have the Olympics in 16 and 20. He really was that good. And you can see right here, head goalie guy has Hellebuyck as his profile picture. I'm going to go out there and wage a bet in saying that he probably wants to see Connor Hellebuyck doing as well as he could be and ranking highly on lists like these. But I do think it's a super crazy thought to have that isn't really all too crazy when you think about it. Like, Connor Hellebuyck and Carey Price head-to-head, at their peaks, were both top goalies in the NHL. They were both the best goalies in the NHL for multiple years, even though Carey Price only has 1 Vezina to his name. The issue is, Carey Price was never playing on a team that was as good as the Winnipeg Jets that Connor Hellebuyck is playing on right now. Say what you want about save percentage, say what you want about individual awards, but Connor Hellebuyck went 47-12-3 last year with the Winnipeg Jets. They were one of the best teams in the league. Carey Price, throughout the course of his career, putting up all these numbers and having all these wins, he had a really great season in 2014-15, 44-16-6, but there were other seasons where he was still producing crazy numbers, but just didn't really get that many wins. Like, for example, take a look at the season before that, 2013-14. The Montreal Canadiens goaltender had a .927 save percentage, but he was 34-20-5. That wasn't really a great record when it comes to the actual wins and losses. You would assume a guy who gets a .927 save percentage can win more than 34 games on a year. He's probably, hopefully, approaching that 40 mark. That's all to say that things in Montreal were not really all too peachy, squeaky clean win-wise compared to how they were in Winnipeg. Take a look at 2010-2011. Carey Price, .923 save percentage, but he's 38-34. That's really darn close. Montreal just was never as good as Winnipeg was throughout the course of Connor Hellebuyck's prime, even though the Winnipeg Jets are not doing all too hot this season. Hellebuyck is at a .900 save percentage right now. He's not going to be competing for that Vezina trophy this season, but he ended up getting that Olympic gold. He should have gotten the Olympic MVP had the voting for that award been decided not just after one period of the gold medal game, but it's becoming a lot more tight than I think any of us expected when you compare Hellebuyck to Carey Price at this stage of their careers. If Connor Hellebuyck ends up winning 30-something games throughout the course of the next 2 seasons, let's say next season he gets back into Vezina territory. If he wins another Vezina, if he gets his 4th Vezina trophy and maybe even gets another Hart or, goodness gracious, even a Lindsay, I think it'd be very comfortable to say that based off of the individual trophies, Connor Hellebuyck would have surpassed Carey Price. Is Carey Price just a victim of being on the Montreal Canadiens and teams that couldn't really win too much? Or is Connor Hellebuyck just the better goaltender legacy-wise and impact-wise? Another thing that I think we should pay attention to as well is the fact that Carey Price was a multiple-time Vezina finalist. If you just take a look at it, Price was nominated for the Vezina twice. He ended up winning it once. Meanwhile, Connor Hellebuyck, 5-time Vezina Trophy finalist. So Price was the early to mid-2010s. Hellebuyck is the late 2010s to the 2020s. There's a lot to like out of both of these guys, and I just wanted to ask that question out here. Carey Price is heralded as pretty much the best goaltender of his generation, despite the fact that he doesn't have as many trophies as you would have expected a guy with that reputation to have. Has Connor Hellebuyck surpassed him? You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this British Rolls 99, and bye.